This is it. This is the Z10 or Z10, depending on whether you're American or English. Open it up, and there obviously is the handset sat front and center in its own special cradle. Just putting the handset to one side for a second, but they just want to check what's inside here. And what we've got in here is obviously your usual wall adapter. I believe, unlike old Blackberries, you only get the one that's relevant to the country that you live in. So I've got the UK one in here. If you're in the States, once it's released in the States, obviously you're going to get the American one. But that's a very basic, usual wall adapter with a USB socket in the top there, bottom rather. It's covered in cellophane, I won't bother with that. In the other compartment we have a guide, some stickers with the IMEI number on. It's actually more than one guide. Here's a basic start guide which shows you all the new, obviously with it being BlackBerry 10, the brand new operating system, you want to know how to use it firsthand. So it's giving you some simple guidance with some nice images on there to help you get used to the new gesture system, because obviously it's completely different from old BlackBerry operating systems. And then obviously your more in-depth guide in here, warranty information, safety and product information rather. And that's there. Inside, your new smartphone beats the heart of a dragon, so Snapdragon processor inside this. You also get the bog standard BlackBerry earphones. As you'd expect, they don't look anything special, so if you're a bit of an audio nut, then you're going to want to use your own ones, but nothing to shout home about. And a USB cable. USB to micro USB, obviously you use that as a USB cable, or you plug it into your charger to get your device charged up. And that's what's in there. What else is in there is the battery, so I'm just going to have to get that, pop that inside the phone. So this is the actual handset. Obviously it's a nice size. It's large compared to an iPhone, for instance, but compared to a lot of other Android handsets with bigger screens, it doesn't feel too bad in hand. I'll just take all the cellophane off. So front and center, obviously that's your 4.2-inch display. The resolution is 1280 by 768, giving it a pixel density of 356 pixels per inch. It does have other features such as the front-facing camera. Obviously you can do 720p video recording. I believe it's a 2-megapixel camera for taking photos. On the back you've also got another camera. This one is an 8-megapixel backside illuminated camera. It's supposedly good in low light conditions, but having read some early reviews it doesn't seem like it does that well. It does have an LED flash on there as well, so if you are using it in the dark then you might want to consider using it flash. Obviously the back cover is removable. On the left hand side here, if I can just zoom in and focus a little, you can see you've got two ports. There's the mini, I believe there's a mini HDMI port and the micro USB. On the bottom is nothing except the tab to help you remove the back cover. And on the left side you've got the volume rocker, volume up and down, and then the selecting button. On the top you've got your 3.5mm headphone jack and your power button, as well as a microphone. If I zoom out again and get focused in on the handset, I'm going to get this all set up, get it all switched on and show you a brief overview. I've never used BlackBerry 10 before, so it's going to be a new experience for me. I might want to give that guide a read. But I'm going to power it up and see where we go. So this obviously is just an unboxing, but I wanted to show you some of the user interface features. Obviously the lock screen, as you swipe up it gradually reveals whatever you had underneath there. You swipe up and you go to your multitasking screen, you swipe left, you've got your apps. If you swipe all the way across to the left, and this is your BlackBerry Hub. Now you can see all your notifications. If you click Hub again, you can have just notifications, you can have BBM, you can have your text messages. For some reason there seems to be a bug that's kept this in Spanish for that single one. I've got my email and Twitter in there. It's got everything in there. If you swipe down, you've got toggles for switching connectivity on and off. You can go straight to your settings, switch your alarm on, put rotation lock on. All in all, it's pretty decent. If I go to text messaging quickly, and I can show you the new keyboard. So you can see you start typing a letter and you've got immediately some suggested words like predictive text, and you just have to swipe up and it selects that. So essentially it should make your texting quicker. But anyway, that's been the unboxing. I'll leave the review. I'm guessing Aaron's going to do it. But anyway, I've been Cam. If you want to follow me on Twitter, if you want to ask me any questions about the Z10 or the Z10, I'm at TIP_Cam. Feel free to get in touch. I will answer pretty much any question you can throw at me, as long as I know the answer, and if I don't know the answer, I'll find it out. But anyway, stay tuned, keep it locked on to phonedog.com, and we'll have more coverage of BlackBerry's latest phone. Will it save the company, or will it just be the phone that people remember as their last attempt to save themselves? What do you think? Let us know. Leave your questions and thoughts in the comment section as always, and I will see you again soon.
Button up top, or you can simply swipe a thumb up from the bottom of the display. This is a key gesture taking you home from any application as well. You can see the applications in BlackBerry OS X are a grid of icons, as you might expect. You can drag and drop them around, or drag one on top of the other to create a folder. We'll take a look at the browser here. As you can see, pages load very quickly. As we go ahead and click over to a more complicated web page, we would like to point out that this browser does support Flash, making it one of the few mobile platforms that still does. However, premium video sites like Netflix have blocked this device, meaning you will not be able to get your Netflix streaming through the browser here on the BlackBerry Z10. But now this more complicated page, as you can see, loads very quickly indeed. Pinch zooming is quite responsive, and hopping out of the application you can see just from a swipe up from below. This interface shows you all the running applications, so you can keep up to 8 running, and then you can quickly toggle between them by tapping on them. And then closing an application is just a matter of tapping on the X in the lower right. Now this gesture is called peeking. It's one of the most talked about features of BlackBerry 10, and indeed one of the more powerful features here. Drag your thumb up slowly and you'll see an array of icons showing you your number of emails, text messages, BBMs, and things like that. Asterisks will indicate if there are any unread that you need to take a look at. But drag your thumb up and to the right and you get dropped into the BlackBerry Hub. This is basically the all-conquering communication portal for the operating system. All of your emails, tweets, BBMs, text messages, and Facebook messages, and even LinkedIn messages will all get dumped here into one big mess. At least it turns into a mess quickly if you get as many messages as we tend to. But thankfully you can very quickly and easily filter this by email or by tweet or by text message. Swipe down from the top and you'll see a list of any upcoming calendar events. If indeed there's a conference bridge, you can just tap on the event and it'll quickly dial you into that bridge, which is great. Or there's also a dedicated calendar app that you can go to if you want to get more information about other upcoming events. BlackBerry World is the portal for premium content on the phone, including apps, music, and movies. It'll by default give you a list of popular apps in the moment, and as you can see, there's not a lot in here of any note. But RIM promises us that in the very near future there will be a lot of more premium apps, good content from Delta and other manufacturers that you would expect to find in any sort of premium app market. You can also tap on any app to get a list of screenshots to see how it looks and get some reviews to see what other people think of it as well. Music and movies are also found in here, and pricing is on par with what we see in the Amazon App Store and Google Play Market and other places like that. Television show episodes range between $1 and $2 typically. Movie rentals are usually between $2 and $5, and purchases, well, those are all over the place. Now, the new keyboard in BlackBerry 10 is another feature that a lot of people have been talking about, and it is indeed very good. As you can see, the keyboard layout is very roomy and comfortable, which makes typing easy by default, but it's got the neat trick of predictive text, which pops up above the next key. So as you're typing, words will appear above the key, and to select that word, you simply swipe up from that key. Now, it's not quite as quick and easy as you might think. It actually takes a little bit of brain power to look down and to be looking over all these keys and scanning to see which is the next word that you want. But ultimately, once you get the hang of it, you can type very quickly indeed. The overall experience is a lot like SwiftKey on Android, and we think we still like SwiftKey just a bit better because it's easier to just hit the spacebar for the next word rather than having to go find it above the letters. But both are very close indeed and both offer very good typing experiences. In fact, we would say that the BlackBerry 10 keyboard is the best stock keyboard on the market right now. Camera performance on the Z10 is good but not great, and we found the interface to be a little bit clumsy at times. Now, you tap anywhere to take a picture, but if you want to focus, you need to manually drag the reticle onto the point where you want to focus and then wait for the camera to adjust. In fact, we found that sometimes if we tapped the picture too quickly, the camera would actually take it before it was done focusing, resulting in a very soft image. Once pictures are taken, you can go in and revise some filters, very much like Instagram in a lot of ways, but we should note that as of now, Instagram is still not available on BlackBerry 10. There's also a feature called Time Shift here, which allows you to take a group shot and then tap on each face and individually select the frame, which is perfect for them. The problem is it didn't always detect faces. In fact, 3 out of 4 times it didn't detect my face at all, which meant for me anyway, this is not the best feature. BlackBerry 10 includes a new Maps application that is overall quite poor. It doesn't come anywhere near comparing to Google Maps or to Nokia Maps on Windows Phone 8 or even to the latest Apple Maps in iOS 6. Functionality is very limited. You're limited to an overhead view with traffic and nothing else. You cannot get a quick view of local points of interest. There is voice-based turn-by-turn navigation, but we found it to be very flaky, and indeed you can't pinch zoom while you're getting navigation as well to get a view of what's upcoming. If it looks like VZ Navigator overall, that's because it's actually done by the same development team, and the functionality here is very similarly limited to what's found in VZ Navigator. Ultimately, we'd say Maps is probably the most half-baked feature of the operating system, and that's very disappointing given the importance of navigation these days. It absolutely pales in comparison to what's available on Android, iOS, or Windows Phone right now. Now, as we do this review, the app selection in BlackBerry 10 is a little bit limited. The default apps, though, many of which are very good, a lot of them were done by the Astonishing Tribe, and they have a very sort of distinctive look to them. The Compass app is quite good, and the Calculator app, which is similar to what was in the playbook, is also quite good. But as we were going through BlackBerry World looking for other apps to check out, we found a lot that were absolutely terrible. And there are, of course, plenty of terrible apps in every app store, but these were actually being recommended to us and were bubbling up as some of the top 10 downloadable apps as well. This one called Laying Scanner is actually trying to tell if you're lying, but the developer apparently mistyped it and published it anyway, and it is available for download now. It scans your finger to tell if you are a liar. As far as we can tell, it's completely random. This interval training app was probably developed for the playbook, but now here on the Z10 it's also available. It's basically unusable. All the controls got mashed together to the point where they overlap, and you can't even start the thing. Finally, there's an app called Apollo, which is a Pandora interface that we presume would be perfectly usable on the playbook, but here again is pretty much unusable. The album art gets shifted way off to the right of the screen, as does the play and pause button. To get access to them, you have to tilt to landscape, but even then, all the buttons are stacked up on top of each other and hard to see. This will be a very real problem for users of BlackBerry 10 and owners of the Z10. A lot of the applications they download are simply not going to look very good or simply not work.
And first thing I'm going to do is I will just go like this. You can see very scratch resistant. Let's try the back. So you can see the different marks right there, but overall, I mean, obviously you'll have scratches, but overall, you know, screen-wise, it's still going to work. The phone will be working if you try using a knife. Now we're going to be doing a few hammer pounds. Basically, I'll just smash it with the hammer. I'm not going to smash it. I'll just, you know, first I'll drop it and see what happens, and then I'll put a little force. So first, let's go ahead and just kind of drop it from maybe 4 inches. So you can see nothing yet. Now we're going to give it a few pounds. And as you can see, completely nothing. Still works perfectly fine. Really no issues whatsoever. So that's pretty much it, guys.